Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. This is the show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Clink and drink. Oh. Clink and drink. Clink. She's over there. Clink and drink. Ching, ching, clink.
Clink and drink.
So before we start our show, look who's back.
Hi guys.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Silenus is back.
We're going to stop this right now.
Okay. He's been working the last few weekend nights, and he actually got off early tonight. So he's able to tell us about the wine we're drinking. Welcome back, Silenus.
Thanks,
I
honey.
feel like we kind of stuck him in the back.
I got the back row treatment.
It's okay, honey. We
But,
still love you. All right, go ahead.
So the one I chose tonight
I'll hold it up.
was a Cabernet out of the Paso Robles region of California. It is Sextant Cabernet.
Ooh.
It's a very elegant, dark Cabernet. It's got a lot of blackberry, some black cherry, and it's got some chocolate notes on the finish. It runs you between $25 and $35 a bottle based on where you're at in the country. Good, solid Paso Robles cab. If you haven't experienced them, there are something to try. They're the affordable version of Napa cabs. So we're going to go ahead from here, and we're going to let our guest talk and let Lola introduce her. So you might hear me here throughout the episode.
Yep, you're stuck there.
Yeah.
Do you
So
want me to take the wine?
Maybe.
we're gonna give her the wine. It's gone. Turns out she really is a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, honey.
Straight
Are
out
you really drinking out of the bottle? Okay, you have to understand, Morgan drinking out of a wine bottle is a rarity, and I wish I had a picture of that. But she's like, there's no proof. There's no proof. You're lying.
4 witnesses.
We got 4 witnesses, and
6 if you count the dogs.
yeah. Oh, and I just spilled wine on the dog too.
Alcohol abuse.
Well,
Now you have to chug it.
It's not the first time our dogs had wine spilled on them.
So anyway, we have with us our coven sister Willow. Hi, Willow.
Hello.
My little Willow. I'm petting her. I want to hug her, but I got a dog and a husband in between, so
Yep.
that's what she said. So we're gonna talk about some darker stuff because it is that time of year. We are in October.
Spooky.
It is spooky. It is witchy. There is a lot of ghost stories and scary movies on, which this is why I love October, because of Fear Fest on AMC, and Walking Dead comes back, and all the cool Halloween scary movies on Netflix. I'm just saying, I've been watching a few, and I'm going to watch some more tonight.
Too.
Yeah. Which ones
I like
did you...
to watch them in October, but I'm way behind on my watching one every day.
Oh, yeah.
We watched Hush the other day.
That's a
which
good
is
one.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched Malevolent.
Where we were eyeballing that's going to be the next one.
I
on our
haven't
list.
finished it, so I'm going to finish it tonight. So
That's
anyway,
the next one
yeah.
we're going to watch.
we like scary stuff. Also, we're going to talk with our resident Ghostbuster, and she has seen some stuff. If you remember her from one of our, I think it was like our second episode.
Second or third episode,
Yeah, she did a really cool thing on ghost hunting, but we wanted to talk more about the people that you have dealt with in the homes that you have ghost busted, or the people that we see in our lives. All of us have had experiences where we see people that maybe there's, and in the Wicca religion we don't believe in the devil, but we do believe in demons and dark spirits. So one of the things that I've always been fascinated with is when you go to a house and there is some sort of dark energy, you have found that sometimes it's the people. There's something attached to them, or can you go more into that where you've had to work with that and be like what it could be, or, you know, yeah.
Well, you know, because we always go in with psychics. That is just for our own protection.
And why do the psychics protect you? How do they do that?
They help keep us informed of what's going on, what could be coming. I like working with more than just one,
Mm-hmm.
because each psychic has a different ability. So you're more surrounded. I mean, yeah, you have your stones, you do your protection spells for yourself, you ground yourself, but there's just ones out there that are just
Good at what they do.
yeah, they're very good at what they do.
And so I know that when we did a house and there was together and there was some negative energy attached to one of the residents and you tried to cut that energy off, and do you find that happens a lot more when you do go to these situations where there might be some dark spirits or evil energy or whatever you want, not evil, but it's actually a person that it's attaching itself? Is that pretty common?
It's very common.
Okay.
A lot of it has to do with stuff that you're bringing from past lives.
Mm-hmm.
It could be your best friend in a past life that you tend to hurt, or vice versa, and
Yeah.
it's just something that continues with you. They might not be here on this plane at this time,
Yeah.
but they're with you.
Yeah.
So they cause issues in your life. You
Yeah.
have to break them ties, and it's forgiveness. But that's when the psychics come involved,
Mm-hmm.
because they have to forgive you too.
Yeah. And that's kind of hard to get forgiveness from someone
It
who's
is not there.
that's not there, but you can get that.
Yes, you can get that.
Have you worked with that before? We've got Morgan, our coven sister over here. You do a lot of working with connecting people with spirits. Have you had to have that forgiveness kind of chat with someone yet, where there's a from the dead, a dead?
I've had a person who had a family member that passed that was holding on to stuff, and they just had to forgive themselves, number
Yeah.
one, and forgive the other person for their part in it. And you know, when you pass over, you know, you're not holding on to that stuff. It's the living that's holding on
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
So the spirits don't hold on to it.
No.
No.
So then when you see, and I understand that, and I get that, but I'm playing devil's advocate. When you hear about these spirits, and it might be because, you know,
Are you talking like poltergeists?
poltergeists and stuff like that, where there seems to be like a vendetta or
a poltergeist is, I mean, your boys are at perfect ages for creating poltergeist.
Yeah.
And it just changes. It's
Mm-hmm.
going through puberty, and it's
The energy builds
ends
up.
up,
Yeah.
and which can cause it. It is just built up energy that cannot be released, and it manifests itself.
So masturbation would help get rid of that.
Well, yeah, it probably could. Yes.
If you
Even Sinead's
That
like,
was a
really,
joke.
Mom? Even our dog snorted.
Our
at that
dog just
comment.
snorted.
So
so everyone masturbate to get rid of the poltergeists.
but no, it's just
Oh, I'm being too smutty.
no.
Sorry.
so annoying.
No, it's an inside
Oh,
joke.
Inside joke.
Inside joke. Anyway, go ahead. No, but so that's built up. So there, when you have quote unquote evil spirits, because there's some evil shit out there that
There
manifests. Do you think it's created by the person, or is it
Some of it.
okay?
I was like,
Some
yes.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer to the question is yes.
Yes.
I believe it can be.
Right.
Yeah.
You can create your own.
If
evil.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
And because everything's energy,
Gee,
people that have lived in your house before you,
left
there's a
the
certain
imprint.
energy imprint that is in the house.
Yeah, you
Yes.
walk into this house and you feel pretty
Love.
good energy. It's
Yeah.
love, it's light. So someday if we move out, I would hope that this energy stays in the
But
house.
there might be an energy imprint where they can hear, because we all have certain patterns,
Yeah.
and so that sometimes that's where you get from a person where you hear them walking from one room to the other and there's nobody there, but it's just the energy imprint.
It's an energy imprint. It's like a movie that is constantly
Constantly
And
playing.
that's where I think some of the famous hauntings that you get, it's an energy imprint. A lot of the
Yeah.
ones where it's like you've got the white lady that's walking across the courtyard that people see over and over and over
Because
again.
that's a
It's
memory.
just a replay.
It's a
It's a
replay
the
of
spirit
everything.
of the place.
If it's not interacting with people and
Yes.
it's the same time, every night or so many times a night at the exact in that.
It's a memory.
It's a
memory imprint.
Memory from
Yes.
the
And it doesn't
place.
have to be a person that's passed.
past.
It can be a person that's still living.
Right.
But
that
their
lived.
energy.
Their
The
energy is still there.
Yeah.
Because I've had that happen to me where it's like you swear you see someone walk by and then you're like, but my kids are all at school. It's because you have that thing is replaying.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense. That makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah.
So when you do deal with the people that we were talking about, people that manifest some of this dark energy that follows them, I always have this saying, and Phil and I have talked about it, and everyone knows someone like this, or several people where I'm moving out of this town because everything shitty happens, and then they move to the next town, and then everything shitty happens there, so I'm moving to you can't move away from yourself. So it's the same
Exactly.
concept of sometimes you just are, I hate to say it, and if this hits someone out there where you feel like I'm being mean, maybe you need to look into it. But sometimes evil shit and bad shit follows you, and that is the same sense of manifesting some evil. I hate to use the word evil because we don't.
Malevolent.
It's
Malevolent energy, malevolent spirits,
And thoughts are things.
Well,
and
Right.
thoughts are things.
I mean,
Yeah.
because they are out there, but you can create your own.
Yeah.
And you're not realizing you're doing it.
Well, it's the whole concept of why we need to do shadow work within the craft.
Yes. Which we talked about
Last
week.
week.
Don't see how these all. We don't even plan. Actually, we do plan this because we're brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, that's where the aspect is. If you can't clear up your shit,
It's
then-
gonna
then-
follow
then
you.
That's gonna manifest and
It
manifest.
And it manifests in energy, in physical, and all sorts of stuff. So, like we said last week, shadow work. Get down into that stuff that you don't want to face because it does pop up in some
Yes.
weird ways. So when you deal with people who have that dark energy that follows them in their homes or whatnot, have you had to have talks with them and say, this is something's attached itself
Yes.
to you,
Yes.
and how do you go about, because sometimes people might get freaked out, how do you go about talking about that?
Well, we tell them different things that could possibly happening.
Uh-huh.
And we mentioned to them that, we feel that there's an attachment to you.
Yeah.
And try to explain to them that it could be they just were in a bad neighborhood,
Sorry. I'm
in a
sorry.
bad area, and they were a little down on their luck or just not feeling so well, and whatever's there going,
Yeah.
new victim.
Opportunity.
The opportunity
Well,
is
they
knocking.
do.
fresh meat.
And,
They attach themselves to that.
attach
Yeah.
themselves.
How do you and I guess, I was using the word exorcism earlier, but that's not really a word that we use. But how do you get rid of that from someone? What are some of the steps that you do, or the processes, or
Whether it's a removal or separation.
or separation from? I've seen you do that with someone before, where our neighbor,
Right.
that was you cut
You cut the cords.
cut the cords.
You you have to ball that energy up, and you have to pull it out. You have somebody holding, with your power going into them, and you got somebody pulling that energy out.
So you have someone on each side of the
Yeah,
person,
that's the best way.
and
And it doesn't happen instantly.
No.
There's times it takes several times.
maybe you
get
have to
good.
do it several times.
times.
It's like chemotherapy or something. It's
Right,
or
and
whatever,
it's-
medication or something.
And
it's
then
not.
once you
It's like a
do
removal
it,
of a ward.
they gotta.
Yeah.
Kill each time.
I feel you need to reflect on, what can you do, what has been happening in your life? What can I do to make myself better, feel better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that energy builds up in it, and it just comes out sometimes in a very negative way towards other people.
So this would be a good reason or a good excuse to find out what's been going on in their lives, find out what big changes have happened recently, find out how is your relationship with your spouse?
Spouse.
How is your relationship with your children? how's your job? What's going on?
Right, because it could be an illness that's brought
Yes,
it all in.
and that too. Like, who is someone sick? Are you,
Right.
you know, have you ever met someone or met complete resistance and denial where they're like, no,
Everything's fine.
Everything's
yes, you get a few of them.
yeah.
I've met some people too that don't want to get rid of the energy.
No, they don't want to get it because it's
Because they're
It's
used to it. It's a
It's a
And-
comfortable
and-
energy. They know that energy.
Yeah.
They know that energy and it gives them power.
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and you that's another
And
thing
that's
is you can get power.
Negative power. can
It's
be-
still power,
It's power,
but it's
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 drained
bad.
you.
It- yeah.
And a lot of people think they can handle that and
It's
that
a
it won't hurt them in the long run, but that's not.
It's
right.
a false pretense.
Move on.
It's the poison apple concept. It's
Right.
it's tantalizing for you, but in the
There
long
you
run,
go.
it's not going to do you well.
you should
But, you know,
move up
because you have
Chair
that
right there.
what you
Could be a
can
little
manifest
intimate
yourself.
behind the
something
curtain.
that's in an
That's 3 now.
that yep.
What?
That's
She's drinking
three-
out of the bottle
3
again.
times.
She is drinking out of the bottle over there. I'm telling my coven sisters to move in close.
Morgan,
And
high
here-
five, honey. That's awesome.
And Morgan's drinking.
Clink and drink it with the bottle.
Bottle.
Clink and drink with the bottle.
Clink and drink with the
with the bottle. Look at that. Yay!
And we got it on camera.
So
There,
You just got
there's
the
a little bit
clinking
of proof.
and drinking. You didn't get the drink on the
We
can.
got the clink, not the drink.
The clink still
Yeah.
counts. I
so
say so.
it does.
And everything I say counts as canon.
Yeah. Well, whoa! Who invited this one?
Ego.
I did. Did you say you did?
Let's check her for attachments.
I love her. I love her. I love all of you. Let me just say, we're talking about some dark shit, but our coven is full of love. But we do love the dark shit.
Oh yeah.
There's love for the dark shit.
Yeah.
So, what I want to talk about is soul retrieval. We were talking about that's another word that we use for quote-unquote exorcisms, and we have each different ways that we have learned soul retrieval or have worked with soul retrieval. There is the soul retrieval that we were talking about. Well, let's talk about the one that you were talking about earlier, Morgan, when you go to grab someone's soul, someone's sick, or can you explain that a little?
Yeah,
Fragment.
If-
Yeah.
It's a
like you can get a
reunification.
fragmented part of your soul from just being scared. Like if somebody comes around the corner and you don't expect them there and you go, ah!
Yeah, you lose a little bit.
Sometimes you can lose part of your soul. And in shamanic journeying, what a person will do is they'll go to the middle world, which is this world,
This world, yeah.
and retrieve that part that left. And you have to search for it, and then you have to convince it to come back, and then you have to integrate it in with that person's body.
Don't they say in shamanic journeys you don't want to journey to the middle world unless you're doing that? Because if you journey to the middle world, you can lose your soul there.
You get
That's
stuck
what
there.
I've heard.
You can get attachments in this
Attached.
world.
Okay, yeah.
The way I was taught is that you can journey to the lower world and journey to the upper world and have no problems. But in the middle world, you want to be disguised. You want to be in one of your power animals and go into the middle world and do your work there. Some people teach it differently. That's how I learned it.
That's how I've heard it too.
So you really want to protect yourself when you go into the middle world. You want to make sure that you don't bring back any attachments, and you know it's not work for the unexperienced, because you can get into some stuff that you don't want to get into.
That should be a topic for you guys next week. Is your shamanic journey stuff? I think that'd be good.
Sure.
Anyway, so that's that kind of soul retrieval.
Mm-hmm.
The soul retrieval you were talking about earlier. Can you share?
It's basically removing stuff that's brought from past lives
Okay.
that attaches with you, which on a lot of people causes addictions, disease, and you have to remove it. And it goes back to forgiving each other or whatever.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I guess that's all that was left.
Yeah.
Was a little bit.
Yeah, because she hosed it over here. Drinking out of the bottle.
I love your terminology. She hosed it. Is it?
Oh, now she's sucking fumes.
There might be a drop left.
Now she's ketchuping the bottle,
Yeah.
tapping on it, getting those last drops.
Yep. So that forgiveness and that from past lives. Now the soul retrieval that I have read about and I'm more knowledgeable about is when your soul is left somewhere that it shouldn't be, in a darker place or whatnot, and you go and I guess it's the same concept. It's just, and you go, and that could be causing the issues of what people would look at as demonic possessions or bad spirits or whatever, and you go and it's like saving your soul, but not in the way that is like Christian, like, and you're saved, It's more like your soul is somewhere really dark, and we need to go get that.
Get
we need to be Superman and Wonder Woman and go...
To go with a pop culture reference, in Harry Potter, when they go to the train station and you've got little baby Voldemort all like fetal position. and
Yes.
That would be, it's a good allegory for like the soul retrieval, because you have that splintered section that is vulnerable and it's not in a happy place and it's lost.
Yeah.
And it needs to be brought back
To somewhere
safe and comforting and warm, where it can be nurtured, which is within, our host body, for lack of a better term. Because it's supposed to be part of you, but for whatever reason it got splintered.
What she said.
Trauma.
Trauma
Causes it. So there's all these things to take into consideration about when there is hauntings and that. It's a lot of it is attachments. And I just remembered something. You were talking about... Oh my God, I just had it. We were talking about forgiving the soul, soul retrieval. There's something else you brought up. I'm having a brain fart.
The removal of the demon from the body?
The attachment?
Attachments.
Reattachment? When you bring the soul back together into one?
Let's talk about attachments. What are the attachments when you've seen an attachment? Are you doing?
What? Be like,
What are you?
attachment and reattachment.
Oh! I thought you were doing special effects. Ooh, Lola has a glass of wine in front of her. Well, that's nothing special.
No, it's the thumb.
The thumb
where
you do the
disconnect
yeah.
and then connect it, attach and reattach. You're slow on the uptake.
Oh my God, because that was so absurd. Don't tell us we're slow. You're just weird.
It didn't have the
You
same
knew that
effect
too.
with the wine glass.
I was
I know.
what is she doing
I
with
thought
the
she was
wine?
doing wine magic trick.
I know. I was like, oh, she's
Make
gonna
the
do a
glass
magic.
into
She's gonna make it
two.
levitate. Ooh, that deserves a clean drink.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Cling.
It's empty.
Ooh.
Because you were drinking out of the bottle.
So attachments, when there is something attached and you remove that attachment, how do you shield yourself from having that attachment or whatever it is you're removing?
You do your protection spells for yourself.
Yeah.
If you got to stuff stones in
Your
bra-
pants.
in your pants, and your bra, whatever.
Bra purses are great things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you
I'm sorry
protect
you don't
yourself,
have
you
one.
ground yourself. You have to know who you are
My stones go carried by my
and
stones.
your belief.
Yeah, and I've seen you work with some shit, our neighbor had some stuff going on, and I saw her take on, there's some crazy dark shit in their basement, and I saw you take, like, you literally got kind of I don't know, but like lost your breath or like getting the wind
It
knocked
went
out of
through
you. It
the
was
spirit
that's
I'm
what
like
it was.
a doorway.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
goes through me
yeah,
to when it leaves.
yeah,
And it hurts. It hits me to leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, do you find any residual?
No.
You don't.
No.
I've
So-
never known you two.
So
No.
it's not like the green.
It's
She's
like-
good.
It's like
That's what I'm
there.
afraid of is having doing
You know,
that
you-
kind of
you
work
take
and
it
having it.
in the Catholic sense. I am when they see the white light. I'm what they pass through.
Okay, you help, and that's another thing you do is you help spirits pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
how do you get them when you pull them to you or whatever into you to get them away? How do you expel them? It's not like green miles
I
are
can't read this.
spitting out bees or nothing. But
No, they just go through me.
It's
They
hard to
just-
read the
there's-
time.
It's like the spirit just walks,
Walks
through
through
her
me.
to
Okay.
the
There we
other
go.
side. But
25
when you're pulling
25
attachments
minutes, got
out,
it.
you don't
We
take
could
the
see
I
Doesn't
can,
matter.
I can only
No.
see the
Okay.
25.
Me too.
What I
That's
do
why I
is
was like,
I
man,
send
not
them
moving.
to
somebody's
the-
thinking
Okay.
I'm just saying hi.
okay, I was,
You know, there's time though. You know, you have to call in. I call them the warring angels and stuff like
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
do the fight.
okay.
Yeah, and they'll take those attachments and they'll take them up to the light.
Yeah. Has there ever been, and you were talking about earlier, this is what I remembered. You were talking about earlier about when you go in a certain situation, something about don't tell them your name. Don't,
No,
what
if
so
you're
what was that?
If you're into, where for a fact that it's some level of an actual demon, you don't want them to know your magical name, your real name. And if you know their name, you do not say their name.
And why is that?
Because that
gives them power.
It gives them power.
Okay.
And gives them permission to do what they want to do.
So,
So can you threaten them by saying, "I know your name"?
No.
no, because but
The fight's on.
but here's
then
the
they
thing.
want you to say it.
But
They
here's
want
the
you to
thing.
say
Here's
it.
the if you don't want them to know your name, what if you think your name?
You try not to think that.
But that's like saying, don't think about the elephant
they
over
don't
there.
do
Then
it.
I'm like,
Well,
don't think about it.
that. Think about that
Elephant.
elephant.
Think
That's
about
all
the
part of
elephant.
the
Think
training,
about the
though.
elephant. And that's where, because our mind will, don't think about naked
I will not
boobies.
dream of bunnies.
Yeah.
I will not dream of bunnies.
Don't think about naked people dancing on the beach.
Why
Guess
not?
what? I'm thinking about naked people
people
dancing on the beach. So if you're saying don't think about my magical name,
Right.
guess what? I'm thinking about my magical name.
But when you're in a house clearing it, you're not thinking that.
No, you're thinking of
You're-
the rid.
You're in the moment.
You're
with
on
one
task.
another.
You're in the moment, you're on the task, you're trying to discover what's there.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then you've got people who play with Ouija boards that have no business touching a Ouija board.
Yeah.
I know you can go to the store and buy it. It's a kid's game,
$19.99.
but it's real.
Yeah.
The way you open it, it's the way you will close it.
Yeah.
You have to thank them. You have to tell them they are not allowed to stay.
You
they're
have to
just-
show respect. You have to show respect for, and this is something I will always say, you have to show those dark spirits and demons just as much respect as you show the light and the gods or whoever you worship or because they're still, whether you like it or not, they are still powerful beings.
They are.
They're better
And
than us.
and you need to acknowledge that you understand their power.
Right.
May not want to play with them on the playground, but you are like, I'm not going to disrespect you, but I ain't going to hang out with you. And that's how I've always been with, I respect
Right. You
the
have to
dark. Well, I'm not even going to say the dark. I respect the dark, like the demons and that stuff. I respect it. I get it. I respect it. Don't want to hang out with you, but I totally will like, that, and in the past, I've had, we talked about addiction when people are addicts. You know, I'm very open about my addiction. So if anyone's like, God, she's really saying a lot on here, everyone in this room knows. And now I'm
everyone
here.
out in the universe knows that.
But yeah.
Matt Lola knows her addictions.
Yeah, I had addiction problems, and there was times in my addiction where it was very dark, and I would see demons, and I literally saw demons. I saw demon faces on people.
Yeah.
And I knew I would just, but you know what?
Walk among us.
I knew, and to me, I viewed that as, well, I know not to hang out with that person, because it could have also been the drugs, because when you are in an altered state, you see a
But you
lot
didn't
of
see
stuff.
it on everybody.
But I didn't see it on everybody.
But you saw it on the
The
ones-
doorway
But
has been open.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But I saw it on certain people, and I saw it not in myself, but I saw it around me. I saw it in the place I was at. I saw them hovering. I saw them swirling. I saw them waiting to just attach, waiting to
Yeah.
get their claws in, and it was very. It woke me up quite a bit, and that's when I realized. I was like, oh yeah, like they love this shit. They love these people.
Mm-hmm.
They love bars. They love casinos. Any place where there's that more of a low vibration.
I was gonna say funeral
Energy.
homes is another place, but
Yeah.
funeral homes gets a mixed bag
Yes.
because it's different. Because it's a low energy, just because you're dealing with people that are sad.
Yeah.
It's a different energy though, but it is a place where you could pick up on some stuff that you may
Looks
not
like
want
your
to bring
head
home
is
with
up.
you. Hospitals. Hospitals is a big one.
You know that little
Oh,
monkey
yeah.
on the back?
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
the
He goes.
mini
They like
black.
to hang out, when you were saying, they like to hang out at bars, they like to hang out at casinos, they like to hang out where, and he goes, it's fun. Some of the most fun places do have, it's just,
Well, and
just
you-
because it's fun doesn't mean it's good.
yeah.
Well, and you think of everybody's
Lair of the
emotions
Lotus Eaters.
when they're at that place. I mean, a lot of people drink or do drugs or gamble because they're depressed.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Some
You're
are
trying
just
to make
there
up for
for the
something.
fun,
Mm-hmm.
but
they're not.
some
They're not
are there
looking-
because of an addiction. So
It's-
it's
Oh
like you
yeah,
have
yeah.
that-
No, I get it. It's just, it's funny
It's
because,
an energetic imbalance that
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
about because it attracts certain amounts of people, and you're dealing with the totality of the situation and what thing is there the most. So you're going to get people that go to the casino because it's their birthday and they got an extra $100 to blow and have fun, and they've decided to gamble, and that's not a negative thing, that's a positive one, but it's imbalanced by how many people are there because they are hoping to win it big and then leave depressed because
and
they
that's where the whole Christian concept of, I love how I say Christian and like this, like it's a made up religion. I'm sorry, it just sorry.
There's so many
I-
of them are hypocrites anymore.
Where they talk about gluttony or the seven deadly sins,
Seven deadly sins.
and it's so funny when I look at those seven deadly sins, because we in Wicca we try to talk about moderation and balance, because we don't want to not have fun. I mean, I like to drink, I like to smoke pot, I like to do things that are maybe some people consider
Are frowned upon by some.
what?
That are frowned upon by some.
Yeah, but when it gets out of balance is when the trouble starts. So
When your priorities get lost.
Yes.
excuse me.
And you
sorry.
always want to remember to energetically cleanse yourself.
Yeah.
You know, smudge your house, smudge yourself. You know, just take care of yourself.
Oh yeah. And I have a sneezing attack coming on.
It's because you got an attachment up your nose.
I do. I have it's a boogeyman. Is there any other things you guys want to add before we go? Because we are coming up to
I mean, you were talking
What
about.
are 33. And we're out of wine. I'm out of
Okay.
wine. No. Go.
No, because you were mentioning stuff about exorcism. What you thought exorcisms were. You know, because there's just so many different things, and what they don't show on TV was when they bring in the priest, the stuff you have to go through. You actually have to go through mental evaluation.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it like a 2 or
Before-
3 year process before they even after
No,
all the
it's
research?
not.
It's not that long.
It's not that
It could
long.
be a few months.
It could be a few months, and they actually want investigators that are approved by
The Vatican. or
the
whatever.
Vatican or the ones that are going through.
The archdiocese or wherever it
Right.
is, the church itself.
They have to be approved for evidence.
Oh yeah, no, I
Before,
know
you
this
know-
because I told you I studied exorcisms and it has to be approved.
Approved.
They don't just say there's a demon in my house. Let's send an exorcist. No, it's like you got to figure out what's going. And a lot of that comes from the past when people
priests had their own little exorcism kit and would just go perform them at the drop of a hat. And
Yeah.
be like, okay, cool.
Well, and that was also there was some people that were getting exorcisms that were actually really had mentally schizophrenia or whatever, and so they were not being treated. But there was no medications or anything, and so that's kind of what you did. So that there was a lot of stigma on exorcisms because of that, because they were like, they were mostly mentally ill. Yes, there were a lot, but then there were those ones. There was something else.
There are still some that are unexplained.
Unexplained, yeah. And I love the idea of exorcisms, and we're almost done, honey. That's our stage manager telling us to wrap it up. My 10-year-old, he's the boss. Are you going to walk in front of the camera? Can you wait? Can you wait? Can you wait? Go. We're almost done.
It'll take a
Go.
minute.
All right, go. I'm telling the stage manager what to do. Get out of here. So,
you stopped the show.
Okay, we will. Go. So, anyway, well, any last words of wisdom, or make sure you were talking about just protect yourself. If there is any unexplained phenomena that's happening in your house or in your life, you know, I'm assuming people that are watching this have a lot of pagan and witchy friends that could help them with that. We have members in our coven that are very good at dealing with that kind of issue, and you can always reach out to us to be a guest, to ask us questions, or just say, hey, what makes you you? Then you can just email us at crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
Also, if you have any of these issues with spirits, you can reach us at the same email address, and we can get in contact with you.
Yes, we have wonderful people here.
I'm going to start putting that just in the description.
crossroadscoven@gmail.com. I know. So remember, always be kind to one another, walk with the goddess, and until next time, blessed be.
Blessed
Blessed
be God.
be.
Bye.